Welcome back, you guys, to video 3. We are going to be discussing the new bullying allegations, from all those years ago. So it's coming back out and it's going to affect Meghans' ARO, her whole thing. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump in. Let's get there. Let's go. Before we get into anything, I had to show you this picture. I walked out my back door. That's the moon. I mean, that thing was bright. I was stunned. Isn't it just beautiful, though, out on the land? And then, of course, I went out for a walk with Finn early in the morning so he could go to the bathroom. And there it was, still hanging there right above the trees. How cool was that? Okay, let's move on. Next up, I want to say a big thank you to Maureen. She didn't give me the right to give her last name, but she went right onto my Amazon wish list and ordered this toy for Finn. He loved it. Watch this.
Look what you got. Oh my goodness. Ooh, you like? Do you like it? Yes.
She also sent something for the cats. Toodles just kind of sat right in front of it and was watching the balls go around, totally mesmerized. Thank you so much for those gifts for the animals. All right, let's jump into today's story. Let me remind you that Prince Philip was in the hospital dying, and Meghans said that they were just using that as an excuse to muzzle her, to keep her from doing the interview. Then the bullying claims came out, and Harry claimed that he woke up the night before the interview to find Meghans sobbing into her pillow. She's not a bully, he said. No, this is just a smear campaign to try to muzzle her. Remember all that? So with that, the palace hired an outside law firm to run an investigation. Meghans had her attorneys immediately shoot off paperwork demanding to know who had accused her of being a bully. The investigation had just started, so they refused to release any information to her at all, but I think she wanted to know who it was because everybody had signed NDAs, and I think she was worried. Now, when the review was finished, they decided not to publish it, and I believe they decided not to publish it to protect themselves, because could you imagine if it came out what she had done to staff and she had been allowed to do it for an extended period of time, how bad that would look for the palace. So Meghan and Harry, the fighters of misinformation online, put out statements that her name had been cleared. Absolutely untrue and a lie. Her name had not been cleared. The palace just said they weren't going to release the information, but based on the information, they had made changes, which tells me that they did find something. So we hadn't heard anything about the bullying really for a while. It kind of hung over her like a cloud, but all of a sudden, Samantha the Panther Cohen, the woman who had given Meghans 6 months of lessons, security and, royal lessons, broke her silence and confirms that she was one of the people that was interviewed regarding the bullying allegations. You should know that Samantha was a very trusted member of the royal household. She had worked as the press secretary for the Queen for over 17 years. And when she stepped down from that position, she went to work as the Queen's private secretary. She had been, like I said, with the family for years, but she didn't last with Harry and Meghan even a year and a half. When she left the position, she said that working with Harry and Meghan was like working with teenagers. Why can't I not doubt that? I can totally see it. Jason Kanoff is the one who sent the email saying that Meghan had already bullied 2 PAs out of the palace. She always seemed to have somebody in her sights. And as far as Samantha the Panther Cohen goes, he wrote that he was very concerned about Miss Cohen and the amount of stress she was under. And he also wrote, and now I'm quoting, "I questioned if the household policy on bullying and harassment applies to principals." Now, principals is what they used to call members of the royal family. Now, remember, Valentine Lowe and Tom Bauer both wrote books where Meghan was accused of bullying, and Harry and Meghan, who sue, they're very litigious, have not sued either one of them. They put instances in there of people saying that they had to go have a meeting with Meghan and they couldn't stop shaking. They were so nervous. Just as an FYI, let's not forget, let me remind you that it was during this tour, Samantha the Panther Cohen said she was only supposed to stay on for another 6 months. They were in the middle of training somebody, but whoever Meghan was bullying during this tour quit mid-tour. She was like, I'm not putting up with this, and she walked, and that left Samantha holding the bag. Well, looks like Megan better buckle up because new details regarding these bullying accusations apparently are coming out. Now, again, the initial claims were put out. There was an investigation and they did not release the report. But Tom Bauer has said that new details are going to be coming out, even though the investigation remains under lock and key. And they said this is a situation that's very hard on the accusers and unfair to the accused. It's unfair to Megan. And that Jason Knopf's leaked email correspondence gave us a starting point. But until a few days ago, Miss Cohen and other palace staff had remained completely silent. But now that dam has been breached and more is going to spill out. This little trickle of information is going to become a stream. It's going to keep going. It's not going to prejudice the matter because the information is what the information is. I completely agree with that. Let's not forget that before the wedding, Megan was taste testing dishes for her big day, and she accused one of the cooks of lying to her and putting egg in it, and she got very upset, and the cook said, "I didn't do it." And she kept saying, "Yes, you did." And finally, the queen walked in and said, "Megan, in this family, we don't speak to people like that." How about when Megan berated one of Catherine's aides, which Catherine did not take well to, and she went up to Megan and said, "That's unacceptable. They're my staff. I speak to them." I think behind the scenes, the royal family knew what was going on. They knew she was a bully. She was bullying everybody, all the staff. And even in the spare, Harry said that a lot of the staff was slumped over their desks crying. I mean, it's pretty obvious what was happening. So now all this bullying is overshadowing her ARO thing. Now, this is interesting because Christopher Anderson, who authored the book The King, said that the palace has more important things to be concerned about, like King Charles and Catherine. And he said, but once again, we're trying to figure out the truth based on leaks from the palace and a little bit of information offered up by former employees. The monarchy has always been very secretive. It continues, and this code of silence routine has got to stop, since all it does is spawn gossip, rumors, and wild conspiracy theories. He said, why are we rehashing this bullying business at all? It's well established there was a big clash between Meghan and the monarchy, full stop. He said, this really got me. He said, Meghan miscalculated just how much power over her own life she'd be allowed to retain and how easily inside the palace you can become flustered. Yeah, I don't see that. I'm sorry. I do think the palace should release the bullying report. Absolutely. I think that the people who were bullied should be allowed to speak. I don't think Meghan would like that very much, but that's what I think should happen. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to read your comments on this one. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. If you've already hit that button, double check. Go into the description box. You'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, my Amazon wish list. If you've donated anything to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.